Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet again to another pretty exciting match. Kazakhstan fighting their way out of contenders 3-0 to finally have the chance to play in the actual round of 16 in the loser side alongside Indonesia. Pretty great start, but slight rough ending there in their group stage journey. A bit of a tale of rise and a bit of a tale of perhaps recovery from each of this country. I'm Blank Tap and joined by me will be 40. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you, Blank Tap. Yeah, you mentioned these two teams got here in vastly different ways. Kazakhstan have the, feeling good, 3-0 in group stage. Had a pretty good run there. Indonesia had a pretty difficult group with, New Zealand, Romania, Finland, all really good teams, especially at that low SR. They only had that one win, but they're going to be looking to do better today. Being an 18th seed in the losers bracket in round of 16, one of the higher seeded teams at this stage. So the skill cap of this team for all the players should do pretty well. But Kazakhstan, they have the advantage of likely having the best overall player in this entire matchup with Kamenchik, but obviously backed up by quite a good supporting roster as well. So it's going to be, should be an interesting match. And I think it's going to come down to, for Kazakhstan, how on fire are we going to see Kamenchik today? For Indonesia, how good are all the players going to be? Mindfrost was the most valuable player in the qualifier stage, but we didn't see as much of him in the group stage.
We're gonna see him come in, especially when the star rating is getting quite similar to the qual. So I do feel that the usual rosters for the qualifiers will show themselves once more in this pool. And as you said, yeah, Kazakhstan with Kamenchik potentially as the make or break for this team. However, the other players at Zero Eyes, Turnaf is probably gonna see them plenty as well as the core, so probably not too coin flippy with how Kamenchik's feeling today, but nonetheless, a good day for Kamenchik. It's a good day for Kazakhstan, that's for sure.
I'm curious to see what the bans are going to look like. If you look at the group stage, one of the really impressive performances from Kazakhstan was the No Mod 3, getting the 2nd, 4th, and 6th highest score overall, which in that stage was No Mod reading consistency, low AR, right? Now, in terms of AR 8 hidden, I think Indonesia has that advantage, so Kazakhstan likely not wanting to go right into that hidden 2. And Indonesia won't want to ban it, but I wonder if off that No Mod 3 performance in group stage, do you ban something like Free Mod 2 or No Mod 5 maybe? I'm curious to see what they're going to go there. Meanwhile, for Kazakhstan, maybe they ban something in the mechanics territory, maybe speed if they're not feeling on one of the skill sets, but I think the bans here are a bit up in the air.
I think Indonesia's ban gonna revolve something that as a group they won't really be able to secure at least one full combo to fight against Kamenchik. As you said, like something no 1-5, no 2, that is fair, but I do think that there isn't really a clear answer for these two teams. I think we're gonna see some on the surface questionable bans because it really does come down to comfort. We're still basically in early stage, so it's all about that overall performance as a team rather than a single carry that you gotta watch out for.
Yeah, for sure, and it seems that teams might agree is Indonesia thinking about this ban quite deeply, and I can understand because I think, as you said, it'll really come down to the team comfort, which can't obviously know for sure. A lot of these maps in this pool are quite different to their respective slots in both the group stage and qualifiers. But be an important ban because this is going to be a close match, so you have to think about it. And it is going to be that free mod too, so I did mention free mod 2 I think looked good for Kazakhstan just with the no mod players. I think they're going to have at least one good hidden on the free mod 2 with likely Kamenchik, and then you have two good no mod reading players, ends up being pretty good for them. Then Kazakhstan is going to ban out that DT3 pretty swiftly, and does make sense as Indonesia look pretty good on the alt high AR skill set in group stage and also on the respective slot in qualifiers.
You remember them going toe-to-toe with Romania, double 4 million for both sides at that time, and definitely something that scared Kazakhstan. Nonetheless, though, these bans doesn't really tell the whole story. This is kind of a one-off maps for each free mod 2 and DT3. And Kazakhstan, I mean, they are going straight for the consistency, if I remember correctly, quite awkward aim as well. Pretty dense at AR9 for the hidden players at 220 BPM. Hard rock players, it's all about mechanics. And if I remember correctly, I think Indonesia did lose no mod 1 to New Zealand in the quals, though, not quals, group stage, my bad. So probably looking at the weakness regarding that. Nonetheless, though, I guess they are going for it.
Yeah, going for the awkward aim, and I think the always the main differentiator generally for these free mod picks is going to be the modded players, because the modded players are always going to have the toughest times. AR9 at 220 BPM, so it's very dense for the hidden players, and for Hard Rock you're just dealing with more mechanics. I imagine for Kazakhstan they're probably going to put Kamenchik on hidden. He's a very comfortable hidden all-around player. For Hard Rock, they'll have Hard Rock, I think for something like this, will be a bit more approachable for several players. Maybe we'll see 3 UMA on the Hard Rock. Did play the Hard Rock for free mod 1 in the group stage. For Indonesia, though, I wonder what are they going to go for like that.
I mean, I saw a bit of a foul jump scare there, a bit of a mainstay for the hidden gimmick roster for Indonesia, but kind of left immediately. Nonetheless, Hakui Koyori on the lobby. That's nice. He is definitely the main hidden jump guy for them, and it's a bit of a toss-up regarding hard rock between Iron Frost and that noob guy. Though most likely that noob guy, as Mindfrost and GenX quite consistent on that no mod, so that's like my final guess, and I suppose we shall wait for what survey says soon enough. Good luck, have fun. First map of the match, it's gonna be non-use. God, this map, yes, a billion custom diffs.
For sure, and I mean, I think the advantage Kazakhstan here, other than having two pretty good mod players, it's actually gonna be a bit of a mix-up. It's gonna be, I think I saw Kamenchik on the Hard Rock, and it's gonna be double Hard Rock for Indonesia. So, you know, there is that point, it's AR9, so for a lot of players at this density, they're actually going to have an easier time dealing with the circle size rather than the density, and Indonesia are going to go for that, which honestly makes this look like a better pick for Kazakhstan. If you can make your opponent overmod, it's a good sign.
Aristo, the AR9 definitely making Indonesia quite uncomfortable. Quite surprising to see Hakui Koyori on Nomad and GNX on hidden instead, though. A bit of an ugly accuracy to start ourselves off. Some problems, I suppose, in the beginning, but nothing much other than that, as we are seeing the multiplayer kind of play its role. And Kazakhstan with the early 2 misses gonna swing the score a teensy bit to the side of Indonesia, but nothing too conclusive just yet.
A few early breaks from mostly Kazakhstan there, but the players have recovered. Shiyumi finding a much more important miss at that 300 combo mark, but Indonesia looking like the favorites in this introduction at least. Accuracies have built up again as well from that introduction.
And a bit more break from Xiaomi as the lead slowly but surely going to the side of Indonesia. Nice cushion of 60k going into a bit of a swing section before the map lashes out with these big jumps. Immediately Xiaomi finding yet again no trades in the side of Indonesia, but there's that noob guy 3v3 as Ryuma trying to recover as soon as possible. Good trade in the side of hidden for Indonesia as Kamenchik on the hard rock, trying to keep this fragile combo against Hakui Koyori and Mindfrost.
ENX did drop there, and yeah, now it's a bit of a 1v2 scenario for the full combos, or not full combos for Kamenchik, but may as well be with that accuracy especially. But Kazakhstan doing their best on the recoveries, but right now it's Indonesia at the halfway point who are looking like the favorite. Especially, you have Hakuya Kiori on that no mod. That's going to be your sure bet, you could say, your most confident combo that's going to go deep. So having that no mod combo is so huge for Indonesia right now. It's Mind Frost matching Kamenchik on the Hard Rock, and Kamenchik drops that Hard Rock FC. Now it's looking dire for Kazakhstan.
Yeah, this is definitely a dangerous position to be in. Nigh impossible to come back actually. One-third of the map remains on 300k deficit. And it's not going down. My first idea, Nakui Koiri on the Nomad and Hard Rock Duty, making this look like simple paperwork, a bit of a stack catching that noob guy off guard, but nothing else other than that.
I mean, you still have these two unresolved full combos, and unless something catastrophic happens to Indonesia here, they should pretty much have this breakpoint in the bag. Both players on the combos hitting that awkward accelerating flow stream. And with Kazakhstan, not really much combo to speak of. Turnifis on 600, but it's just not going to be enough with 500k score already in the bag for Indonesia. They're going to look to close this breakpoint out with two huge combos from Hakuya Kiori and Mind Frost ID.
Yeah, this is definitely a very good start for Indonesia, finally turning the table around. And this is quite a monumental breakpoint. My first ID, the lone full combo on Hard Rock nonetheless. 600k in the lead for Kazakhstan first pick. Now it is up to Indonesia to solidify this lead. And the answer is still not clear, but for now, a bit of a respite as they take the first point of the match.
The only FC being a Hard Rock FC, quite a performance from Mind Frost. I mentioned, I was thinking, like, Mind Frost played every quality map. I felt like I wanted to see more of him in the group stage, and after that performance, dude, I think you're going to be hopefully seeing a lot of Mind Frost ID in this matchup. That is quite a performance. And yeah, you mentioned Indonesia's pick, so it's their time to look out here, try to solidify this breakpoint. We have some good options here. What are you thinking, though?
I mean, looking at the difference of comfort on Hard Rock, especially when you have two players willingly play Hard Rock on Fremont 1, I think Hard Rock 1 is basically in order, to say the least. I guess Nomad 1 is there, but I think they're still a bit traumatized by the group stage Nomad 1, so probably gonna abstain from that for now. Maybe when they're comfortable, but I really don't see any other maps to choose other than Hard Rock 1, maybe DT1, but that's about it.
DT1 could be an option, but probably a bit coin flippy. I think Kazakhstan will be able to put up a pretty good score on that as well. Depending on how their flow aim players feel, I mean, Hard Rock 2 could be an option. They had a decent score on Fremont 2 in qualifiers, which was the flow aim pick, but you need players who are both good at flow aim and Hard Rock, so not all teams have that in spades, especially in the losers bracket. But they're going to go for DT1, so going for a bit more of a conventional skill set.
Not too questionable of a pick, not really monopolizing on that Hard Rock opportunity, but I think Indonesia as a team knows best of what they're capable of. This is as simple as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. AR 10.3 jump burst, it is Kotoko. It's as DT1 as a DT1 can get. Very straightforward in its mechanics, and it is just up to the players if they feel like full comboing it or not.
I mean, and these two teams on this specific skill set were like right next to each other in qualifiers. Indonesia with the 26th best DT1 and Kazakhstan with the 27th. Very, very small score difference. And that map was very similar to this one. So that just shows that anybody can take this depending on how they're feeling. Both teams have players who can do the aim, who can do the burst, who can read the pro trading. But Indonesia right now just looking like the more well-oiled team. So if that carries over, should look pretty good in this double time one.
Yeah, once again, Indonesia just smashing in the kind of maps where you kind of have to do good as a team, as a group, to kind of have a chance in winning. And DT1, everyone can play it, but to play it well, you do need specific kinds of player and a good one. Now, looking into the lobby, we see Rafexi for Kazakhstan as Indonesia completes their roster with Styx as the fourth player. Lifeline coming in and Mindfrost with Hakui Koyori staying and chilling.
Lifeline, obviously notably extremely proficient, one of the best in the whole world at this kind of skill set at the very high end of star ratings. But this more consistent level, he'll look a little bit more in line with everybody else. But Kazakhstan need at some point to look for a breakpoint here to try to make up from that free mod 1. And this is a chance. This is a chance for them.
Yeah, once again, I mean, not the most polarizing skill set, so Indonesia still needs to be extremely careful of this pick. Single miss, I mean, we've seen notable players getting 400, 500k on this map. This map, while easy, the pressure does get to you a tiny bit. Starting out accuracy in the side of Kazakhstan, but not gonna be too decisive just yet. 22k, very much more comfortable in this situation.
And with something like this, it'll always just come down to the nerves. I can imagine every single one of these 8 players have locals with FCs, but Mindfrost is going to be the first to miss. And that pressure hits Ravexi, I think chain 50 to stream potentially, but recovers from it just fine. It's going to be Kazakhstan with early combos.
100k difference thus far, building up a good cushion for themselves, but reminder, this is DT, that multiplayer hits so hard, but from one side they break to the other. There goes Indonesia, Styx and Lifeline, the last 2 remaining soldiers for them, holding up against Kazakhstan, and they are definitely looking much better. So Team Rafexi with the Shake Ternafis as well, and now it's down to a 2v2 as Indonesia has the combo lead, has the combo recovery, but they still need to hold on. A quarter of the map remains, and it's going to the left.
It's Zero Eyes drops on that pattern. Now it's just commensurate for Kazakhstan, but that's not going to be enough, especially if Lifeline still holds on the side of Indonesia. They have the recoveries. Mindfrost ID is building, so is Hakui Koyori. And Hakui Koyori breaks. Revexi Zero Eyes match though, so the score is still going to go up for Indonesia. Can Lifeline close this out against Kemenchik? But Kemenchik drops the SS! And it's going to go over to Indonesia. The heartbreak for Kazakhstan as they lost their chance at a breakpoint back. And Indonesia closed it out at the end, led by an FC from Lifeline. The one you'd expect to go the distance on a map like this.
150 is...
Oh.
Yeah, that's emotional. That is heartbreaking. Lifeline did what Lifeline does. Absolute destroy DT1, and I suppose Indonesia will indeed consolidate it. It was looking mighty suspicious, that's for sure, but an instant recovery and they somehow bring it back. A bit of a... whew. Yeah, and now we're going back to Kazakhstan pick. Are they gonna keep going with these free mods, with these consistent aim, or are they gonna pivot to something else?
I mean, the free mod 1 didn't work too well for them. So you likely have to mix the direction. They've lost on aim twice in a row, although the DC1 was a lot closer. Maybe you go into something like reading gimmicky. I'm still looking at No Mod 5 as a good option, just considering their performance on No Mod 3. And it is going to be No Mod 5. Pauling is in the building.
I love how this map is almost 100% pick rate. Yeah, I mean, the teams are just playing it for the love of the game. Very interesting pick though. It is. I mean, I've seen scores ranging from 200k to 400k. This map is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to combo and even harder to act, which means even if you do get a good combo, you're going to get punished on slider ends, on the accuracy overall, so your score can only be so high. I think a lot of the best players, the best scores on this range in like the 600Ks, even for FCs or near FCs, right? Because it's just that hard to access map.
Yeah, this is definitely a heavy practice map to say the least. The second and the last part is quite the combo killer. The sliders, I mean, when you realize you have free will, you don't need to follow it, and I've seen too much player using that to their fullest advantage. It drops one combo per slider since you don't hit the slider ends, but you know, whatever works when you're under pressure. You don't really want to miss on those falling sliders.
I mean, you know, if you miss right before those sliders, I could see, yeah, may as well just try to follow them, get some extra combo. But if you're holding on to a combo at that point, I think it's completely understandable to not follow them. It's so tough, and the risk of dropping your combo outweighs the upside. But here we go. We'll see how Kazakhstan's ability on the low AR gimmick and group stage transfers to this. How much of that can help them here. As we see Kamenchik, Thriuma, Turnifus, and Nibia in as they look to get their first point. Indonesia, Aquacuri, Styx, Fa, and Majira McQueen. Let's see if they can keep the train going on the points.
Someone to look out for is probably, I suppose, well, the big bad wolf against the 4 real pigs in the side of Indonesia. Of course, Kamenchik is quite dangerous on this map, but on Indonesia's side, there is Val and Fanta, aka Major McQueen. They're well acquainted with these kinds of high CS and kind of rhythm-ish map. As I say that, Val will find the first milks alongside Styx.
I'm going to see a lot of misses on this map, especially as it ramps up. Maybe finding one as well. So it's just 3 for Kazakhstan left. Hakukuri breaking as well. Fa right behind. Rough start for Indonesia here as we get into the meat of the map.
Here we go, the beat drops, everyone dancing on the dance floor, and the eel takes 4 people onto the abyss. Kamenchik still holding on strong, Ternafis as well, the highest accuracy in the side of Kazakhstan, hits the sliders left and right sticks, comboing. Fanta, that was a banjo break actually, and now as Ternafis is gone, going to the palling slider, 470 combo for Kamenchik to hold it off. That's what? Was that miss?
It looks like a lot of the misses were Bancho, but actually people trying to hit these sliders didn't see as many cheesers, but Kamenchik is still holding onto this full combo. Does miss there, but I think Kamenchik might have done enough damage, depending on how the rest of this map goes, but everybody's struggling on this section. Kamenchik, no, that was Bancho! He's still holding!
Kamenchik, there's no way it's gonna go through with this.
There's no way.
Embodying the falling, embodying the glider, 93% accuracy. This, wait, is that bunch of Nyasa 50?
I don't even know.
Is this a single side break? That's a miss though. Nonetheless, Kazakhstan leads the charge, getting 400k lead in this beautiful Nomad 5.
And look at the score from Kamenchik, 752k on Polling. What a insane score. That's the highest I've seen personally. I don't know if that's been beaten yet, but that is
oh my god,
ridiculous performance. Much needed for Kazakhstan here as they get a point, but really, really well done. We knew for Kazakhstan, for them to have a good chance, for them to win this match, they likely need Kamenchik on fire, and he just showed it.
Absolutely, but everyone is kind of feeling the burn. I mean, it's the rank B. The OWC players, by the way, guys. Yep, this map is not hard at all. You too can get a B rank. What a funny map. But anyways, yeah,
he's good. He's good.
Just pick.
And the DT1 worked well for them. I'm curious if any team is going to lean into speed at some point. If this match goes the distance, it probably will happen. But I think stuff like DT2, Nomad 2 can be a little bit of a coin toss, but it actually might be something Kazakhstan wants to pick him into more. Otherwise, for Indonesia, I mean, I'm kind of looking at that Hard Rock one. You mentioned it earlier. It's kind of like an obvious pick, and I agree.
It's a bit tricky for... I think Indonesia has a clear road ahead, Hard Rock 1, and then maybe another... Whoa, hey. Hidden 2? Alright, they're going for that instead, actually. I mean, we've been hyping out, I suppose, Kazakhstan with their low AR prowess, but Indonesia diving into the low AR forest themselves.
You know, I think for no mod low AR, Kazakhstan really showed how good they were, but hidden low AR is a different animal, and I think Indonesia is really good on this skill. So they got 12th overall on the qualifiers, ahead of Kazakhstan by by over 500k score, with a pretty good team score overall. So this is on paper an Indonesia favored map, but I think really what it's going to come down to is which team is more practiced. The fact that Indonesia picked this leads me to believe they feel pretty good on it, but this map has a lot of perfect stacks, a lot of sections that I think demand some amount of practice and time invested into the map to really have a good shot at comboing.
It's fair. However, this hidden is definitely very much aim-centric. I think lots and lots of players that plays these kinds of maps will tell you is to not practice it too much, because these kinds of map is such a mind block potential. The mechanics needed is absolutely abysmal compared to every other skill set, and yet I can assure you, you will miss on aim if you don't focus for the whole 2 minutes and 51 seconds of this map. This is definitely quite the killer if you underestimate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the skill set that demands your attention the most. Some skill sets, you know, if it's like a no mod 1 and there's like a quiet section, you can kind of zone out for a little bit and probably be fine. Not an AR8 hidden like this. You can never zone out even for an instant unless your combo vanish into thin air. Here we go, Indonesia's pick here as they look to build their lead. But Kazakhstan, let's see how much of that no mod 3 group stage transfers to this, if they can handle the hidden, if they can handle the perfect stack memorization.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we shall dig into the Karyudan. So, Major McQueen, Chianaktan Takwe Kairi, the hidden staple for Indonesia. And on the other side, Kazakhstan, Xiaomi, Ternafis, Triuma, and Kamenshik. Starting off with a bit of a noob scene instead of Ternafis, but other than that, 15k difference as we see the beginning triple SS for Kazakhstan as they kinda roll out quite smoothly into this map.
GNX finding a miss, and also some axe struggles. Hakui Kyori, he mentioned as a hidden staple for Indonesia, missing right after. And you look at the accuracies for Kazakhstan, and they're looking beyond comfortable as Fa drops again. Indonesia is not looking too hot out the start here, but Kazakhstan is playing quite well. Hitting this perfect stack. Major McQueen missing the timing on the perfect stack as everybody in Kazakhstan gets through it, and Blank Tap, I think they're ready. I think they're prepared. I think they know this map.
Oh my goodness, indeed. I mean, I suppose it translated so well. Indonesia with the 0 full combo now, and Kazakhstan with the double FC and the recovery from Ternafis, Kamenchik, and Xiumi still looking so good. And SS from Xiumi, brother, your name has 1 S and he is having 2 on his rank, 450 combo and still climbing. Is this the potential? Oh my god, I just saw 470k difference. This is more than just a potential of a breakpoint for this might just be guaranteed.
I mean, this is looking like a slaughter right now as Kazakhstan still have the 3-way. Uma just dropping on that one really difficult pentagon aim pattern. Indonesia is building up though. So they'll have some chance if they can hold. Uma missing, but that's not the combo that counts. GNX, Hakwa Kyori all going. Kazakhstan is still 3-waying as Indonesia have only Fall left. This pick is basically over. I just want to see how high Kazakhstan can go in the score. This is ridiculous, Blank Tap.
Absolutely, Indonesia challenging Kazakhstan in the low AR. But ladies and gentlemen, Xiumi and Kamenshik, like a pair of chopsticks, taking this pick so well. 1 million score lead is a bit of a mental breaker to say the least. And they're still going. This is Shumi finally finding a miss aim, but the big bad wolf blowing down Indonesia's home in this hidden 2. And the win is still going. Kamenchik, what a tornado. 980 combo, no misses inside, absolutely locked in. This is just another day for Kazakhstan in the Kamenchik world. 1100 combo basically. And that's a 1.4 million score lead. Kamenchik can even just not play that entire match. That is crazy. What?
That is absurd from Kazakhstan. They could take 2 players and still win this pick. Turnifis as well, right behind Kamenchik with the near FC. Xiaomi with 700k. Even their lowest score is still matched most of Indonesia. I mean, that is a demoralizing breakpoint if you're Indonesia here. I don't think Indonesia played to their capacity, but I don't think they thought Kazakhstan was dropping 3.2 million on this. I mean, that is really well done.
Yeah, double million, 700k, 400k. Kazakhstan, I mean, they were concealed in their weaponry, and suddenly Indonesia just walked into the bear trap. 2-4-2, it is equal. Now it's a best of 7. Well, no, actually, is it best of 7 basically? No, okay, mathematics is hard. Let's go back into connecting circles. And what do we think about Kazakhstan pick? Best of 5, okay.
Best of 5. Yeah, Kazakhstan pick, I mean, now that Fremont 2 ban looked really good from Indonesia, because that's really the only low AR reading left, and after a performance like that, you just assume Kazakhstan's going to be pretty good. I mean, if you want to go into gimmicky stuff, more reading stuff, maybe things like Nomad 3, Nomad 4 are an option. I still think DT2 could be an option, and they look pretty good on the DT2 compared to Indonesia in the qualifiers, but it's going to be Hard Rock 2, which kind of surprises me here.
That is... Truth to be told, I have not seen any team pick this. Then again, I don't really watch every match. Nonetheless, Flow, Aim, Hard Rock. Kind of my first time seeing this skill set in such a long time. This is definitely an interesting choice for Indonesia, but they're ready to bounce back. No, never mind, this is on Kazakhstan. I'm mixing things up, my bad. But yeah, this is a very interesting pick from Kazakhstan, you know, kind of bordering a bit of a neighbor from that Hard Rock one. So, very interesting to see.
It is, because, you know, you look at, obviously this is a pretty specialized skill set, both Hard Rock and Floem at the same time. But you look at the Nomad 2 and qualifiers, and it's like, okay, Indonesia looked pretty good compared to Kazakhstan. You look at Hard Rock as a category, and Indonesia had the lead against Kazakhstan. So you're combining 2 things that Indonesia had a lead against you, but you're going for it anyway. So I'm curious to see how this goes. Given that they pick it, I assume they just have players who are feeling pretty good on it. If you're especially the kind of player who, you know, looks to farm Floem, the Floem skill set, and a lot of those players also like to play that skill set with Hard Rock. If you're that kind of player, this is going to feel right at home with you. So if Kazakhstan has the players who often play the skill set, I can see why they picked it, but against Indonesia, I am still a little bit surprised.
Yeah, though I think we can give Kazakhstan the benefit of the doubt, because this specific skill set has yet to be seen literally on any other pool. So I suppose they're going off of comfort. I'm sure they got a very solid team score. Why else would you go Hard Rock against Indonesia? We're about to see. Good luck, have fun. Sticks, that the game, Mind Force ID, and Lifeline for Indonesia. Ternafis, Xiaomi, Kamenchik, the core trio, alongside My Angel Raseru to round things up for Kazakhstan. Here we go, Hard Rock 2.
And you know, I wonder, this background, which of the players is going to encapsulate it? Thus far, Kamenchik has been the closest in this match, but let's see if he can keep the pace going on this Hard Rock 2.
Indeed. Starting off 175 ppm all the way. That pass is that of low aim, nothing else. Here we go indeed as Mindfrost finds the first miss for Indonesia and this lobby 3v4 right off the bat. Accuracy plenty, and I mean plenty in the side of Kazakhstan's, but combo is now equal.
Really unfortunate miss from My Angel Rosru. I think missing just on a random slider. But still 3 combos for Kazakhstan. And it's a very long map nearing the 4-minute mark. So there's not going to be many players who have the nerve control, who have the hard rock consistency, especially on CS 5.6 to go the distance. Rosru finding some more struggles, but it's going to be Styx as a big combo to go for Indonesia here.
That's a big trade with Kamenchik Xiumi. Alongside that, new guy Tanaf is the last man standing against Mindfrost ID's recovery and lifeline. 96% and 97% against 98%. Kazakhstan again has the accuracy lead, but that combo is lacking, and thus they are losing out on their lead. Still 7k, still 8k, slowly but surely increasing, but it will absolutely skyrocket as the man himself, Lifeline, show Indonesia a way forward.
Lifeline, I think, yeah, the lowest accuracy in the lobby, but it just doesn't matter because he's comboing, and as long as he can hold that, the score is going to still keep going towards Indonesia. However, if he does find a break, that act is going to hurt him in the long run, as we still have half the map left to go. Recoveries are going to matter here. Styx is doing it, but Kazakhstan still struggling, and Lifeline dropping the full combo. Is now just going to come down to recoveries as Styx is building, but the accuracies is going to hurt them for Indonesia.
50k difference. Lifeline has done his due, but it might not be enough. Styx, the last bastion for Indonesia right now. 1/3 of the map remaining, and there is still plenty to go in terms of content. Ternafis finds the miss. Kazakhstan has 3 good recoveries, but it is still equal. Indonesia riding or dying with Styx combo. This is the last quarter, and it might change everything.
Just might. I think Rosru found a break right at the end there, and indeed they did. Kamenchik and Xiumi are the only combos left for Kazakhstan, but Styx is building. What? He drops on the slider kick!
What? This is absolutely heartbreaking if you're an Indonesian fan. That the pain my ID is there. The combo is still equal, but Styx up still a bit shaken. Someone misses the Nati straight. It's a 60k difference. And Xiumi finds yet again another miss. Kamenchik with a 630 combo. Still a massive roadblock ahead with Mindfrost and that new guy holding Indonesia down. 100k difference. They want this breakpoint for the...
They want it, and I think as long as that noob guy in Mindfrost can close out this ending, they're going to get it. 140k score in the lead, barely any map left. Kamenchik is doing all that he can, but it's not going to be enough. Indonesia is going to win on Kazakhstan's Hard Rock 2. Lots of misses, lots of blunders, but Indonesia gets it in the end here.
I'm gonna be honest, 40 after that slider break, my head feels like I almost fainted actually. But that's okay. I take the clear way forward. And my god, I bet there's 4 Indomie in my wardrobe. If they don't pick Hot Rock 1, I don't know what else they will pick. I really don't. They won Hot Rock 2, they won on Free Mode 1. Hot Rock 2 plus Free Mode 1 should be Hot Rock 1 now?
I mean, that's good reasoning to me. Sounds good. Turnifist is saying pick speed. We'll see if Indonesia agree. But yeah, I still think Hard Rock 1 should be good for them. I also think the fact that its aim is just going to be a lot better for their players compared to the flow aim in Hard Rock 2. Otherwise, I mean, Hidden 1 maybe is an option. I would think at least before, but honestly, after that Hidden 2, I'm not feeling good on the Hidden here for Indonesia.
Yeah, and especially on the floor, I've seen their practice score on group stages before on Hidden 1, and it's very similar, map-wise with our current Hidden 1. They did pretty well on practice. On the lobby, it's a different story, so I'm very scared with that map for these guys in particular. But for now, though, they are thinking long and hard, and I am definitely expecting something along the lines of Hot Rock and one, and definitely not Hidden.
Yeah, I'd agree. But they're thinking about it, so it's not super obvious. And they're actually going to go no mod one, which I think is still fine. It's still lame. It still plays into something Lifeline should be pretty good. I mean, Indonesia, but also Lifeline. However, it being no mod, I think makes this a bit more of a gamble. I'm curious they went this instead of Hard Rock 1, but we'll see. They have both picks they could do in the future.
Suppose they're just keeping it in their back pocket. Definitely quite an interesting pivot. Not really much of a pivot to say, to be honest, but it is no mod 1, a bit more of a safer map to play for both teams, which does not make it any less scary for both of them. This is once again, a widely regarded map that is also 50-50 to say the least. Yeah, I got no words. This is as no mod 1 as it gets. Again, this is just a straightforward mechanics map. Anything can happen. Everyone can miss anywhere.
I mean, I think the benefit for them is if they win this pick as well, I think Hard Rock 1 becomes like a mega obvious. You just obviously pick this as your last pick. If they lose it, then they know maybe they shouldn't pick Hard Rock 1, potentially. But you mentioned this being a coin flip skill set. Their performances in qualifiers were pretty close. Indonesia had the advantage, but not a huge one. And we didn't get to see Kazakhstan play the no mod 1 in groups, but we saw Indonesia play it. They got 2.6 million, which isn't it's just like a pretty, I would say, middle score with a FC from Lifeline. But this is higher skill cap. It's harder than the group stage, so might benefit Indonesia in that regard.
Much higher BPM as well at 208, so this is gonna be very interesting. Lifeline on the wrong team, but he's gonna scooch to the left and complete the roster as the fourth player. Datukai Stakes and Hakui Koyori is there as well. On the other side, Travis Yumi Kalenchik, the fourth player will be Nibia to run them off. It's time to jump, ladies and gentlemen. Kazakhstan once again behind by one breakpoint, and there is definitely a potential to bring this back on this map. It's gonna be tough though. Let's get right into this one. Good luck, have fun for both sides.
Another long pick after the Hard Rock 2. It's gone back to back with, I think, what are maybe the two longest maps in the normal pool? Maybe some Fremont's a bit longer than Hard Rock 2, but the consistency will be tested. And I think a big skill that's tested in a map like this, in OWC, in losers bracket with an elimination on the line, it's nerves. It's nerve control. It's who has the will to keep stable and keep focused. A couple early breaks from Kazakhstan, but won't matter as much how long this map is.
Also, it's truly the mental game as Lifeline, the group stage, no mod 1 full combo warrior, now falls short with the 2 missed in the beginning. He has yet to drop a 100, so let's hope that's not going to be a trend we're seeing from him. 3v2.5 basically for Kazakhstan on the full combos. 15k difference, still equal.
Yumi though, right before that spike, finds a miss. So 3v3.5 now. Yumi finds another miss. Indonesia with the slight early lead. As you would expect from a map like this, accuracy is high from pretty much everybody. It's just going to come down to the combo game.
And they are comboing quite well. Hits the big side-to-side jumps, and now part 1 is done. We're going into chapter 2 of this no mod 1 saga. More jumps. Nibia finding here again another miss though, and now all riding on Kalenchik and Ternafis against an entire legion inside of Indonesia. Still triple FC, and with Lifeline recovering, that is a quick 100,000 lead, but gonna be slowed down as Styx finds a miss.
Those 3 big combos still going for Indonesia here. Kazakhstan hopes really ride on these 2 FCs. from Ternafis and Kamenchik still going. Shiyumi is building up that recovery, but it's gone now. Ternafis misses, so it's really just Kamenchik as any hope left for Kazakhstan on this somewhat one rides on this FC, but Indonesia still has two, and Lifeline may as well have one at this point.
Indeed, a very swift recovery from Lifeline there. Kamenchik can't really do anything other than to pray for a miss in the side of Indonesia, and it does not seem like anyone is listening to his prayer. Hakuikoya and that Doka is still going to reach the 1000 combo mark, and Lifeline is not too far behind as you go into this solo section. Just 0 misses, 0 chances given in the side of Indonesia. This no mod 1 pick is pretty good in their book, and it is showing in this kind of situation.
I mean, their aim is looking on point right now. And 460k score in the lead. Ternafis finding another miss. Kazakhstan struggling to build up those recoveries. Lifeline, though, finding a break. So does Styx and Nibia. So it's just 2 FCs to 1 now. But with 500k score in the lead, I just don't know if it's possible. Like I mentioned, to do this on their own. It's just going to be Indonesia to ride this one out in the last quarter. But miss from that noob guy. Haku Kure, last FC. Never mind, that was Bancho.
That was Bancho, okay. That's alright. What's wrong with Bancho? Jeez. But other than that, that is a bit of a heart attack. Kamenchik, the absolute warrior. Everyone finding a miss on that final stream, but Kamenchik has fought a good fight. But sadly, this is not a pick that Kazakhstan can win anymore. 500k a bit behind, and thus Indonesia will secure their match point with this no mod 1 pick. This is gonna go down to the wire, to say the least. Hard Rock 1 is on the menu for them, but for Kazakhstan, they gotta cook up a pick.
I mean, for Indonesia now, Hard Rock 1 is the only thing on the menu. The restaurant's closed down. They only have some scraps left, and that scrap of food is Hard Rock 1. Take it or leave it. We have nothing else after all of their picks here, as they're up 4-2 against what is going to be Kazakhstan's last pick. And back against the wall, they need this pick to be a good one. They pretty much know they're going to be playing Hard Rock 1 after this. So they have to hope to feel good on whatever their last pick is here. And maybe it's that speed skill set. Maybe it's going to be DT2.
And I mean, there's nothing else. I feel I do agree on that, especially that this is their last pick, so they can make it very much count. Number 2 and DT2 is on the table for the speed dishes. Everything else, I don't really see it. Yeah, it's just DT2 and number 2, I feel.
I mean, alternatively, they've won their 2 picks so far on the gimmickier skill set. So if you want to go the kind of gimmicky route, you can maybe... I mean, the closest thing really at that point is number 3, number 4, but that's still closer to conventional skill sets. So I think that's really, really it. And maybe free mod 3. But it is going to be double.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Satellite DT. It's Senya on the mic, and once again, as DT1 is a straightforward map, DT2 is the straightest forward map. It is 234 BPM stream and nothing else. It's a fun map for the whole family if you can tap.
Yeah, if you can tap this, you're gonna feel right at home. It's probably one of the most consistent maps to get a score on is this double time 2 if you have the tapping for it. Both teams have a pretty solid DT2 tapping roster, but in quals at the very least, Kazakhstan had a pretty big lead. I actually think Indonesia had struggles, especially rounding out the 4th man. So if it ends up being anything like qualifiers, especially with Kamenchik's consistency on something like this, Kazakhstan should feel pretty good here. And depending on how it goes, you know, you might end up looking back at this match if Kazakhstan wins this, especially if they win it decisively, and maybe feel like Hard Rock 2 is a mispick compared to just going into something like Nomad 2, but remains to be seen. Depends on how well they end up doing on this.
And we're indeed probably going to look at someone like Styx, someone like, I suppose, Mindfrost, the fourth player is definitely a bit of toss-up, but it's definitely leaning towards Hakui Kayori as he does arrive into the lobby. Nibia is there, it's Zero Eyes as well, Kameshik, and that's more than 4 players for Indonesia, so we'll have to kind of sort things out. There we go, and now for Kazakhstan, definitely looking at, well, there's the man, the myth, the Nafis, and I think both sides has rounded off their roster to play this DT2. Good luck, have fun.
It's going to be Nibia coming in instead of My Angel Rasaru as a comparison from the qualifiers. Meanwhile, Indonesia, I think, running almost the same players. I think Hakui Kayori coming in instead of Majira McQueen. We'll see if they're feeling better on tapping today. But this is a must-win pick for Kazakhstan. They've played the skill set pretty well before, and they'll need to do it again.
Now, with all of the pressure in the world, remember this is versus bracket, ladies and gentlemen. Kazakhstan is on their last leg, potentially out of the bracket if they do not focus up. Tenafis will be the first one to miss as Indonesia reaches none.
Indonesia here looking pretty good on the accuracies outside of Lifeline, but Lifeline will often be able to combo something like this just fine. Indonesia's building up that score lead. Kazakhstan need to hold onto these combos desperately, and we'll hope Indonesia finds some misses.
Right now though, they are finding not much except for Hakui Kayori. That's the equalizer right now as Kazakhstan slowly but surely winning this tug of war. Going down to 100k, going down to 90k. They are making quick work, very swift. But how long, how much combo can they hold, and for how much longer? Going into the long string section now. It's about to get real dicey for those who are tired already. Accuracy definitely a main concern. Hakui Kayori finds the miss, and more sticks. Lifeline, my first ID. Try to hold them, but that's the W from the side of Kazakhstan. 3v2.
Kamenshik, the Rock, the most highest performing, most important player for Kazakhstan, and he's the only combo left, and I just don't know if it's going to be enough with Mind Frost, Sticks, Lifeline all holding onto their FCs. It's just going to be a bit longer before Kazakhstan's hopes in OWC 2025 are crushed. Indonesia is going the distance, and unfortunately for Kazakhstan, that is going to be all she wrote, as Indonesia in this ending win by 470k off a 3-way Lifeline combo gaming. Kamenshik doing all he can, but it's not going to be enough. Indonesia take this 5-2.
This is definitely quite the bounce back from the performance that we've seen in group stage. Indonesia will be moving on to the loser side of quarterfinals, and definitely very well done for Kazakhstan nonetheless. Putting up quite the feat, quite the fight. That hidden 2 score is definitely something to be respected of. But for now, our winner will be Indonesia. Any last words for the?
I mean, just GG's for Indonesia with a nice bounce back from the group stage, as you mentioned, and condolences to Kazakhstan. But I mean, those gimmick performances, that No Mod 5, that Hidden 2 is truly world class. But don't go anywhere, because in 7 minutes, you're going to be seeing Austria versus Singapore. So you have that to look forward to. Yeah, I think that's all.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight, refill your waters, and buy your banners. There's more matches upcoming. I've been BlankTap, my guy for the. We'll see you guys somewhere else.
Bye bye.